Hello, my name is Ross Hepburn. I'm a stand-up comedian, and this is my 100 Days of Happiness. And Ross has taken my family.
Shut up! Hello everybody and good afternoon, and welcome to what is another video on my channel. As you can tell, there's been a few differences now. Well, I've had a haircut for starters, and I can't tell you how much better it is to have, well, hair like this again. Short hair, for example. I can actually feel the air behind my ears now. Everything is so much more comfortable. And welcome to a new video series I'm starting called My 100 Days of Happiness. And what this is I've decided that I'm going to videotape all of the days, any day in particular, where I'm happy in either my personal or professional life. This will be just like highlights of all the things that made that day special, as me just talking to you about what happened on that day. For example, day one. I had my first gig of the year just on Friday back there, and I was hosting a little festival called Bansheemans Festival. And what Bansheemans Festival is that it was going to be a festival in between two pubs of the area of Nidri Street, in Banshees Labyrinth, my venue, and Bansheemans, my local. And the whole day went pretty soundly, actually. Hello, it is currently 10 past 1 in the afternoon. I've just done getting ready for tonight's Bansheemans Festival. I am all suited and booted, as you can tell. Tonight I am hosting a music festival down at Banshees and Bansheemans, back and forth on the same street in Nidri Street. And I'm excited for this. This is the first proper gig of the new year for me. Hopefully I'm going to get a few more gigs under my belt this year. Hopefully get a bit more money, save up for the fringe and whatnot if need be times comes and whatnot. And right now I'm just getting ready to go into town, grab a bite to eat, and get ready for today's gig. I'm really excited to be hosting another music gig, because I had so much fun hosting the last music gig, so to be hosting another gig is going to be super fun to do. And all in all, I'm going to be going back and forth with this, talking to you, talking to them. It's going to be a great night, and let's hopefully rock the show tonight. I got up around about early morning to get ready, to get suited up and washed up and stuff like that. Then I head into town to get something to eat at the most gorgeous burger restaurant on the planet. Well, here I am now, my favourite eating establishment in the Severn on Park Street uptown. I finally made it into town properly, so I'm just going to get my breakfast, lunch and dinner all in one. I'm going to get everything that I like to eat in a day, called the Mighty, which is the greatest burger of all time. Then after this we're going to head straight down to Banshees and get ready for tonight's gig. Already I'm listening to Maggie Maber Road Stew. It seems like it's going to be a good night. Then I went to Banshees to begin the first run of gigs at the Bansheemans Festival. Now normally a festival starts off, early in the day if it's pre-planned and stuff like that, but this was the first festival in January, so we started off the gigs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And as much as the bands played their heart out, they were pretty much playing to the only people in the room at that time. I kind of felt bad for them, but man, they really knew how to put on a show. So since I'll be showing two bands and the festival back and forth between two pubs in the street, they've given me a highly visible jacket so that they know that I'm going to be the guy that's going to be guarding them back and forth each gig. I can never cut as a builder in this thing, it was made for a woman. I was on hosting duty for the gig, and I got to see all these incredible bands and all these musicians play one after another in these two different locations. The only problem was I had to run in between, back and forth between two pubs, just to see these bands play and give them introductions. So first few bands in Banshees have just finished up now. I'm just waiting for the rest so I can take them all down to Bansheemans, all the regulars and whatnot, so we can start the next part of the evening. The next band should hopefully be starting shortly. I just have to wait for everybody else to turn up. To say this is one of the most exhausting gigs I've ever done is an understatement, but at the same time it was a test of endurance and adrenaline for me to run back and forth and introduce all these bands one after another, hour and hour after a time. When I'm back and forth, up and down, I'm going madder than a bastard on Father's Day. By the end of the festival, I was done. The last band finished up and they played brilliantly, and I got to just enjoy the rest of the night in the most comatose way I can. So that's me done. A hard day's gigging. I opened for a lot of bands, I gave them great intros, and they all performed spectacularly. And now my day is done. I deserve some well-deserved rest, get something to eat, and relax. Back to you, me. Thanks, me! Yeah, I'm still not used to talking to myself in front of a camera as well, so I'm talking to myself through a camera, back and forth. Yeah! And that was my first big official gig of the year, the Bansheemans Festival. Oh, what can I say? It was a fun night. As much as exhausting as it was great fun to run back and forth and finally test out my hosting skills back and forth in between a highly pressured venue like that. And to be able to do it in such a small quantity of time back and forth at this time is a real test. I did speak to the guy, Richie, who was managing that festival and stuff, and he knows that he's not going to do it again because it was a big risk of money, and also organising it back and forth was a bit of a risk for him. But at the same time, just to have, as an idea as that, to have two bands playing at the same time in two different pubs, in that area, if it was properly done, it would be an incredible experience because that street during the Fringe is a highlight to be on, so I can understand why Richie would want to do something like that. And I can understand why, you know, all these bands had fun taking part in it. And all the bands played great. I can highly recommend any band that was on the bill if you see the bill poster that I'll post up. But it was just unlike any... It was just a cool way to kick off the year of my first gig, just hosting these little gigs back and forth. So that was a fun gig to do. My next gig isn't until February, so in that time I'm going to crack down. I've got some new jokes that I've been testing out. I'm going to be writing them down on the bits of paper. And I've also got another day coming up where there's going to be more fun. But tonight I'm going to see Creed and have dinner with a mate, have a little catch up, and that's that. This has been the first day of happiness. Expect 99 more videos of me just talking about things that genuinely make me happy, because that was a day that genuinely made me happy. My first gig of the year, and already was off to a flying start with doing this festival back and forth. I can't wait to see what the rest of the year brings, and I can't wait to see what many more days I can record and put on here for you. So, you'll see all that. Here's the 99 days. Again, I'm not good at talking to the camera. So my food has just arrived and I thought I would give you a little look at it. Oh yeah. That is what the barbecue pit boys call pitmaster privilege.